Hello everybody, this is Dragonzilla1991 here, and for tonight's review, depending on what time it is when you're watching this video, I will be taking a look at the B&M exclusive History of the Daleks set 16/17, which is the first set to represent the new series, and contains two Daleks from the new current Millennium era, those being the Metalron/Time War Survivor Dalek and Dalek Sec. And because this year, 2025, happens to be the 20th anniversary of the new series of Doctor Who, I thought that it would be suitable to look at this particular set. And it makes sense because these Daleks are from the early days of the new series, one from Series 1 and the other Series 2. Firstly is the Metalron or Time War Survivor Dalek, as Theo have labelled it. Now, I would say that this is the first accurate representation of the Metalron Dalek, but many years ago, all the way back in 2012, this Dalek was part of the first wave of sound effects talking Daleks, and it was based on the Metalron from the 2005 Season 1 episode, Dalek. I never picked that one up, to which I now kick myself, as I was far too busy focusing on the classic Daleks at the time, so the B&M version is like a second chance. The new series Time War Daleks are, as we all know, bronze, and while this particular Dalek is still bronze, however it has a golden touch. But in the story, the Metalron Dalek was a bit more gold than the others that we had yet to see, and when we first encountered it in the vault, the Dalek was not only battle damaged, but weathered as well, to give the illusion that it had been through hell and back. We can see this demonstration in the paint job, so it's part dirty and part clean. We can also tell that this is the Metalron Dalek because it possesses a gold band on its midsection, unlike other Time War Daleks whose bands are bronze. I do have other models of the Metalron Dalek, however those are the old chunky toys from the early days of CO's Doctor Who line, in the form of the mutant reveal that I used to use as the Dalek Emperor back in the day, and even the handprint variant. I meant to bring them out but I forgot. Collectors have pointed out that both the ball joints and the end of the eye stalk are gold when they should be black, and I got to admit that it does kind of look a bit distracted, and the fender base is metallic grey, to which I honestly don't remember it being like that in the episode. However, the original RC Daleks did have fender bases that were like this, so I wonder if this is meant to be a little homage. Overall, the Metalron, aka Time War Survivor Dalek, may not be 100% accurate, but it's still a pretty decent looking new series Dalek figure. Up next is the leader of the Cult of Skaro himself, Dalek Sec, who debuted in the Season 2 finale, Doomsday, even though the packaging says Army of Ghosts, which is true, as he and the other members emerged from the Void Ship, but that was at the very end of the first part to that story, as he was a lot more dominant in Doomsday, or Daleks vs Cybermen as I call it. From what I have heard, Series 2 seems to get a bad rap by so-called real true official fans. And while yes, it does have its fair share of groups of fans and enthusiasts, myself included, but it's a mixed bag of a season. Some love it and others don't. Those who despise it only seem to talk about Lover Monsters, Fear Her, and the Idiot Lantern, and while I do agree, I'm not too crazy about those stories myself. However, it had more good episodes than bad, and Doomsday was one of them. And while the finale itself may not be as good as Season 1's Parted of the Ways, but in my opinion it was still enjoyable, and it's my personal favourite episode of Series 2. Anyway, Dalek Sec himself. Now originally, he was released many years ago in late 2006, but only with the chunky body, to which I do have in the collection, and it didn't look right. So you can imagine how overjoyed I was when I heard that CO were finally going to re-release him in the more accurate sculpt, only to be disappointed that it was a US exclusive. I did consider on ordering off eBay one time, however I also had the larger corky diecast model of him, which was more accurate except for the eye, which was dark blue instead of bright. So I was pretty much satisfied with it, and when CO announced that they were starting the History of the Dalek sets for B&M, I decided that when they eventually get to the new series, naturally they'll re-release Dalek Sec in the more accurate sculpt. And I gotta say that I do like the new model a lot over the original. I love the black glossy sheen that his top possesses, and his skirt appears to be matte. And I also love his ident tag badge underneath the eye stalk. I don't know whether it's my imagination or not, but the eye appears to be on a slight tilt looking up. However, aside from that, This is just a perfect and more accurate representation of Dalek Sec, who is not just only the leader of the cult of Skaro, but is also the first official Black Dalek of the new series. The Black Imperial Daleks from Parted of the Ways do not count, as they're only seen in the background, in blinking you'll miss a moment shots. So overall, what are my final thoughts on the history of the Dalek set number 16/17? Well, the Metalron, aka Time War Survivor Dalek, is okay. Not perfect, but it's okay. It could have been better, but decent nonetheless. While Dalek Sec, on the other hand, is pretty darn great. This year, 2025, the Metalron Dalek turns 20 years old, and Dalek Sec will be celebrating his 20th anniversary next year, so both Daleks are old enough to drink. This set is also recommendable if you're a fan of the new series, and if you can find it on the aftermarket. This is Dragonzilla 1991 signing out. Take care, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.